Hello there and welcome back. Today we talk about the new Elektron Machinedrum. Just kidding. This is a very old product of Elektron that I really love. It was one of the first drum machine I've ever bought back in the day, and it's not this one. I sold it because at that time it was too complex for me. I bought this one a few months ago, and I have to say that I own a lot of drum machine, but this one has something that really resonates with me. So I'm asking in the title, is this still relevant? My answer is yes. Of course it has a lot of limitation, especially in the sequencer. And the memory also, and this is the version non-UV, UW, and I wish I can have now a UW, but it goes for crazy amount of money in the second-hand market. This is the Mark II, so it has more memory, has 64 until 64 step, while the Mark I has only, I think, 32 step. It has a limited memory, that I think 64 or something, 100, I don't know, kit, but very little. And the biggest problem of them all for me is that every track has the same length. You can use polyrhythm with it, and it's a feature that I really enjoy. Of course, I own also the Electron Rhythm Mark II, and that is a beast of a machine. It can do everything. You can do a full album with that. But somehow, whenever I turn on the Machinedrum, I always end up with something very interesting and something different. While the rhythm, to me, it's more of a, I'd say, bread and butter kind of drum sound. I always end up with the same kind of sound, I guess. With this one, I always end up with different things. So it's a kind of a quirky machine. It has some feature that I will show that is pretty interesting, especially the 16 LFO that can be all routed to whatever track you want. So you can have one track, one instrument, machine, whatever you call it, with 16 LFO. It has some interesting way you can use the machine controlling each other, a sort of control all that now it's on their model machine. And plus, last year it has been released a new firmware that is not by Elektron but some other people that working on that, and it added a few cool stuff, including a new sound machine with 4 different oscillator in one machine, so you can do chords, a different way that you can tune the notes. And there was another update this summer that added new effects, so an effect machine that actually works. You put a machine and it works with the 2 machine that previous, the 2 track previous, so I'll show that, pretty interesting. And so on. So basically there's a big community that is still use the Electron Machinedrum. I really desire an UW because that was the predecessor of the Octatrack, as there's some machine that resample inside, and also it can read sample that you send by MIDI. Pain in the ass, took ages. I used to have that basically back in the day. And but what I'm interested is like it can resample things and go in very glitchy, interesting way. So I hope sooner or later I will find one. If anybody want to sell one to me, let me know. And then I would love to also try the mono machine that is their synth one. I never had it. I had it for just a little. I tried, but I never had the time to really dig into that. Okay, before going on, few way you can support the page. As usual, you can subscribe, and that doesn't cost you anything. You can buy from the link below. Now you cannot buy this, but I'll put a link for Perfect Circuit that I work with, so I get a little percentage on each thing you buy from them. And What else? You can become a Patreon of mine. On Patreon, I already published a video in which I create a kit step by step, so you can really see how this machine works and how interesting it sounds. Today we'll just go through some kit that I already prepared, and I'll just do a overview of it. Okay, let's dig in. Okay, so this is the kit that I built on the Patreon step by step. If you are interested to see how it works, just go there. Here I will go a very quick overview. You see me use one thing that I really enjoy. I was using one machine, this one that you see it right now, to control all the parameters of the other machine, something like the model sample or model cycles have as control all. I really enjoy doing that because it can lead to very weird result, and then pressing function and extend here, you will get back instantly to the saved kit. So it's not something new if you own the new model Electron stuff, but back in the day this was pretty awesome, and it still is. So before getting into that, let's just have an overview. The Machinedrum has 16 tracks. These you select with this big beautiful knob. They are named for what you are supposed to use it. That's one thing that I don't like is BD, SD, HT, mean the bass drum, snare drum, hat, whatever. I don't like because I'm kind of OCD, and most of the time I end up using different sound where they put BD, so I would have loved just numbers, whatever, but that's just me. So you can have 16 different machine or 16 of the same machine on each track, and then to select the track you move here and you place triggers as usual, like a normal XOX sequencer. The sequencer can go until 64 step. There's no way to put different step for each track. So that's the only bad things I feel about this guy. You load the kit pressing the kit button, load, and you have all of your kit. I don't know, let's see how many. This one you can have maximum 64 kit, and then the memory will finish. So that's another sad things about the non-UW version. There's a song things that we won't discuss about it because I never use it. And then it's very similar to all the other Electron machines. So you have a row of knobs here that control, let's say now I select this BD, that is the bass drum that I'm using. And then you have a synthesis page where all the synthesis stuff happen, effects and routing. So with these 3 pages, you set up all the sound. And can go pretty crazy. Just let you hear what was the kit we were playing. I'm using just 9 sound. Then I have track 10, 11 and 12 are the control machine. And then I have, on 13 I put the new machine that come with the upgrade. You used to have this one too as a sine wave, but in this version, to select the machine, you can press function and hit it. And here you have 4 different oscillators. Awesome. And that's about it. Let's just go through the kind of sound you can have in a machine drum, just to give you an idea. So I'm gonna select an empty machine, now M2, there's nothing, so I press Kit, I would press Edit, and now you have all the machines. So for give you a quick overview, you have, and let me see that everything is focused, yes, there. So the G&D, it could be this tonal machine. Play, yeah, here we are. This is the sine, this is the noise, impulse, and then the square wave and pulse wave. Then you have the TRX family. The TRX family is modeled after the famous TR Roland machine. I have to say, it don't sound exactly like that. There's a tiny bit of reverb from my mixer, I'm removing it. And you can hear, though, that is the kind of... EFM is the proprietary FM synthesis of Elektron. Then we have the... Oh, this is... I'm always getting confused by that. These are out of samples, processed sample. And then PR with, I don't remember actually. We can watch on the manual, but let's just hear how they sound. And then we have the impulse machine that can be used for many other things, for controlling other stuff, for example. Then the MIDI machine, the cool thing is that this can be used as a sequencer, so you can control 16 channel of stuff. You can assign track to MIDI, and then each MIDI is like MIDI channel 1, whatever, and you can control things. So back in the day would make a lot of sense. Now I have so many sequencers that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but just so you know. And then we have this control machine. Control, there's many, there's all, so basically I'll show you later with the kit so you'll understand, but one control all, basically these 4 knobs for each page will change all the other machines that are in the sequence, like in your kit. So these will change for the synthesis knob 1 for each machine. There's control 8P, instead you can decide what these will change. So for example, you always want to use the filter of one particular machine, so then you can basically decide that this knob will work just with that. So it's more of a crafting tool where you want to have precise thing that you want to modify. Then there's one for the reverb, the delay, the EQ, and the compressor. And in the end, there's this new NFX machine. The NFX machine that I'm not just uploaded, so I don't know a lot about it, but there's an envelope follower. There's a, I don't know if it's an envelope. I don't want to go into that because I just literally downloaded it, but basically they work with the 2 previous machine. So you, for example, if you have here to sound and you put here the NFX, this one will work on both of these. That said, so that's the machine part. Then the last part that you have is the global effects and the LFO. Let's go first. Here you have effects master, and you have a page for echo, reverb, EQ, and compressor. And I have to say, this sounds pretty cool. I'm going very random right now, so whatever. The reverb and echo works you can add then for track. You have the effect page. Let's reset, let's go back. For example, let's mute everything. Let's select these. And let's add some reverb and delay. To change how they sound, you just go Kit, FX Master. Now let's go in the reverb, and you can add and you can basically create whatever you want. Okay, so then the LFO part that honestly I'm not using too much, but sometimes it's fun because pressing function LFO, you can now choose 16 LFO. Now basically automatically they are linked. Each one, LFO1 would be linked to track 1 and so on, as you can see here. But the one that come late, like, how do I explain? So whatever LFO that is +1, the track you are being, it can interact with the previous machine. So for example, LFO 16 can be routed to any of the 15 previous machine, while LFO1 can be only routed to the track 1. This means that whatever you want, you can have 16 LFO all routed on track 1. And that's pretty crazy. You have 2 shape of LFO, and the new firmware add more shape. As you can see, there's many. And you can mix the 2. And then, of course, you have speed, depth, and how it works. If it's a free LFO, all of the reset with the button. This is very common on all the Electron machine. If you want to hear how this sound, let's pick this again. So this now already has a decay working on it. And see how it's interesting. That was without. This is with the decay on, and I'm mixing a sort of a sawtooth wave with a random one. If I mix more the random, it change. But let's say I want another LFO happening on this one, for example, for the tuning. So I choose, let's say, LFO 16. I route it to CB, that is track 8. Here we are. Now I set up what I want. There's no tuning, so what can we do? Maybe this. Now it's doing distortion. Now it's doing volume. And so on. So you want another LFO, you check another LFO, you route it again to number 8, and now you choose, who knows? Now we choose the sample bit reduction. So basically, working like this, you can create a lot of variation on your sound. Because, again, let me just... this is what happened now to this sound, right? Now let's go back to the original kit. This was what I did, and there's already something going on. If you remove completely now the LFO, you can do it also by the routing page, so I have the density of it. And now it's, as you can hear, is a very basic sound. Plus you can hear there's some accent going on. The accent is a page, so accent, and I place, you can put by track or by track, by tracks or all. So now there's this accent here. So this, I guess, it's the full overview of the machine. What I feel is interesting, it's that the Machinedrum has very organic and weird sound. It can be, it can go in a direction like a regular 808 kind of thing, but I think it excels when you find something more weird. And I have 4 loop that I have here. Let's listen. So you have 2 modes actually. One is classic, mean that you change the pattern and the kit stay the same. In extended, the kit is saved with the pattern. So you change pattern and the kit will change with it. So let's bring back everything. This was the 3/4, 3/4. Now I did a 4/4 with the same thing. I'm gonna add a little reverb and delay from my mixer. I think it sounds great with a spring reverb. And super simple. But again, if you want to have fun, now you can go. So let's go to the machine that controls them all. Here we are. So there's 2 ways that you can control everything actually. One would be with the control all, or pressing function. Say you are on the whatever machine, you press function, and now whatever I move, it will be changed on all track. So I'll move the pitch, it will change pitch for everything. Not actually, it won't change pitch, it won't change this first parameter on the page correspondent of other machine. So for the bass drum, in this case is pitch, but for other stuff, it could be not pitch. For example, for this is gap. So the difference is like when you do press function and a knob, you cannot set up a trigger because, of course, this is a Electron thing, so as conditional trigger you can modify. That's the basic of Electron stuff. While when you are on the control all, then you can, for example, Control O, here we are. Now you can set up trigs and decide to change things. So you can understand how these can become very weird. Here it is. I love it. It's just like such a cool machine for experimentation. I love to just record it for a long time, play with it, and then sample and chop it out. It has 6 out that you can route thing, plus 2 input that you can monitor. If you add the UW, you could sample from this. Let's listen a couple of other sound. So this is, for example, is something that I created for a live show, and it was a super simple, but I really, really love this bass drum. Look at that. Goes forever. This actually it has only this sound. This is an LFO that creates this sound. And even in this case, you can have fun. And yeah, super simple, super lovely. I don't have any control machine set up here, so that's something you could have done. Let's hear this other. So as you can hear, this is the only, honestly, the only machine that I usually get off my comfort zone of the four on the floor thing and create something more interesting. When I do scoring or when I create the commercial stuff, I always reach out for this one because I can have something really unique in a very fast time. So I think, again, let's see, let's just pick, I want to let you hear some more kit. Now I have, okay, now I have the machine that is doing area. Let's remove it. Let's load some different pattern, just kit. For example, this is a kit that I created. Why I did this? There's a video that it's incredible. It's an artist that I deeply love. It's called Stephane Bissieres. I hope the pronunciation is great. He did a video with this and an octatrack, a generative one. Basically, the octatrack will send control to the Machinedrum and also record the trigger. So basically, he set all the tracks empty, and by the time the octatrack will start placing trig, and it become a beautiful ambient kind of thing. I will put the link down below. So he was so nice to but tell me how he did it, and I had to try. And Stephane is a master, he's an incredible artist, so I recommend you to check him out. That said, let's move on. But again, sounds so good to me. It can be very nasty, very distorted, and I like it. That was shit. And that's on and on. So I think I said everything I had to say about the beautiful Machinedrum. I'm really hope to get an UW sooner or later. It will cost so much money, but yeah, whatever. I really recommend to try it if you find it at a good price. And this one, especially Mark 1, they still come from a decent price. It's a good investment to me, and it's a different sounding thing. Of all of my drum machine, the one that goes closer to the sound would be the Nord Drum 2, another machine that now costs a lot of money. Of course, the Nord Drum is just a module, so you need a sequencer with it, and that one sounds really awesome too. But this is a little more, of course, complete kind of stuff. And yes, I hope you enjoy this presentation as usual. And again, please support the page if you can by just subscribing or become a Patreon or whatever. Send some pizza, and I will always love some pizza. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week. Ciao, ciao.